fact, though, I did this thing where I went on a Cheeto stream. I know, that's right. Crazy. Who would have guessed? Now, for those of you who are new here, who are watching the VOD, I always make sure to include timestamps in the description below, at least most of the time. However, this might be an exception because, it's probably going to be a shorter stream. Probably only going to stream for like an hour. Because there's some things that I want to say. Now, first of all, I mean this, I am going to make some sort of a video out of this, right? However, I want to give my initial thoughts. The reason being because, well, it just happened, right? I just did the thing, the debate that I was looking for. Now, or, well, kind of, right? Now, I would have preferred a one-on-one debate, maybe with or without a moderator, just between me and Acheeto. Obviously, I was never going to get that, mainly because of the fact that there were a bunch of other people in the call, and most of them are people that disagreed with me, or just didn't give a shit, right? The only person that was, on my side, I guess, in that call was Jalyn, right? And vice versa, right? I was the only person that was really on her side. There were some people that just didn't really care about the debate, like Turkey Tom, which I can respect that he wasn't being, I don't know, obnoxious or anything. Augie was kind of annoying, I don't know, but he's Augie, he does that, it's his thing, I don't really care. He's just a shit poster, so I can't blame him for that. Now, I found it interesting, because originally, Acheeto, when I asked him to debate me, said that he would need me to pay him $50 for him to want to, heaven forbid, spend his time debating me. One of the quote-unquote gayest things that you could possibly do. He said that on one of his other streams. But it turns out that he doesn't actually believe that, because he had no problem with the conversation that we had today. It took, whatever, multiple hours, basically, or I don't know, like at least an hour, for him to decide to kick me. Actually, I think I got kicked once, but then I was re-added, and then I'm like, okay, I'll have a serious discussion if you want. And then they didn't kick me. The reason I got kicked was, well, it was because sensitive society was acting like a crybaby towards Jalyn, and basically playing victim, essentially. I don't remember what he specifically said, but I called him out on it. So what do? Well, they complain about it, and then Acheeto removes me because I gave him too much valid criticism. Also, welcome to the stream, Reels the Elf. I should be reading chat. Now, with that being said, I do find it interesting how anytime a complex argument was made, they really didn't want to engage with it, which I find fascinating. In fact, at one point, Bunk himself was added to the call, but it took, whatever, only a few minutes for him to get kicked, as opposed to, like, over an hour for me. Why? Well, it wasn't because Bunk is more of an asshole than me. It's not because he's any more annoying than me. Hell, I'm much more abrasive and much more of an asshole than him. So why did he get kicked and not me? Well, it was because he was making arguments that I guess were too complex for Acheeto to understand. Now, I knew that if I had made those kinds of arguments, that they would have just written them off as, oh, Femyoz is just being a fucking nerd again, and then they would have kicked me. So I had to make my arguments more rhetoric-based, more than anything else. And obviously, they didn't kick me, right? But there were important details, even though they're not willing to engage with substance, that I carefully included, right? I wanted to have a rational discussion where I make rational arguments. Isn't that the point of a debate? I believe it is. But anytime I would, I guess, make a point that was more than one layer deep, they didn't like that. And their strategy, instead of engaging by responding with more substance, to argue against my substance, is to just evade my substance and the substance of my arguments entirely, in favor of just, not engaging with the argument. It's happening. Well, it already happened, and there will be a video on it. Now originally, is it lagging? Hello? Are we back? I sure hope we are. I will keep an eye on lag. I'm very sorry about that. Now, I know that there's at least somebody watching this, whether it be live or after the fact, that hasn't smashed like. In which case, I would like to propose the question: why haven't you smashed like yet? Do you want me to starve to death as a result of me not having my stream promoted algorithmically? Anyways, what was I discussing? I genuinely don't remember. Wow, it seems like I am an idiot. Anyways, as I was saying, I had to take the strategy of making simple but also rational and also correct arguments, right? Now, if I were to say one thing that's incorrect, what would have happened is that they would have harped on it. Or if I said one thing that sounded incorrect, they also would have harped on that, because they can't actually tell the difference. So if I were to do that, well, then I would be fucked, right? Because clearly, me and Jalyn were severely outnumbered. Now, my strategy could have been better, no doubt. But you have to keep in mind that I had to balance making good arguments with assuring that I won't get kicked from the call for at least some extended period of time, however long that may be. And I also had to, be entertaining, make jokes, because if I was just, whatever, a boring asshole, well, that wouldn't have gone well either. In fact, I believe that I had a couple one-liners that some people might consider to be the highlights of the stream. It was even acknowledged by people like Nick Diorio when I made the, you'll see it in the video. It was a one-liner about Sunny V2. That was the best one-liner, at least as far as I'm concerned. Now, what I find really interesting is it seems like Acheeto is willing to have these dumb internet conversations / debates. Like, he acknowledges it's a debate, but it seems like he's only willing to have it so long as there are more people in the call that agree with him than people in the call that agree with me, in which case it's easy for them to dogpile me. I obviously had, well, a big disadvantage, right? So by default, you would think that I would lose the debate. I don't think I did. I think that while it is the case that more people are going to end up agreeing with the dumb shit that Acheeto was spewing, they already agreed with him, right? So there's going to be a bias there. But I believe that if somebody neutral were to see that, I have a feeling they would be more inclined to believe or agree with what I'm saying over what Acheeto and Augie RFC are saying. Why? Because, one, Augie RFC is fucking insufferable, at least sometimes. He can be entertaining. I'll give him credit where credit is due. They used confirmation bias. All they use is confirmation bias, never cite data. Use voice chat to dogpile. In text, I would destroy them hardcore. Also, you won. Why, thank you. I appreciate that. And yes, I would tend to agree. And not even just in substance, but in rhetoric, which is a new thing for me. Before, I think I would have gotten very heated. I would have been hot-headed. I would have raged, I guess some people would say, right? But I learned from the Augie stream that it's not just about the substance of your arguments. In fact, that is the least important thing if you're about to get dogpiled, right? All they have to do in front of an audience of 12-year-olds is just write me off as the physical embodiment of the nerd emoji. So if I say anything intelligent, it's because I'm a nerd, which means that my arguments are somehow less correct. So I have to frame it as this is like the obvious common sense position that's intuitively obvious rather than the position that is the most scientifically accurate. Now, you can appeal to science in a way that's intuitively obvious. However, you can't just appeal to science, or they will kick you from the call. Hell, every 5 seconds of speaking that Bunk would do when he was in the call would prompt Acheeto to deafen himself. Why? Because he knows that Bunk is better than me at debate, is going to make better arguments than me, and is both ahead of me in terms of rhetoric and substance. So obviously he doesn't want his audience to hear what he has to say. But obviously he also doesn't want to kick Bunk right away, right? Because it's like, oh, well, then he looks like an asshole. Right? Why would he kick Bunk rather than me? It's not like Bunk was making worse arguments than me. But if no one can hear the arguments that Bunk is making, and then afterwards he says some shit and then kicks Bunk, well, then it's going to be a lot harder for his audience to sympathize with Bunk, who was, well, blatantly being misrepresented. I think that while it is the case that Bunk is rhetorically ahead of me, I don't think he knew the full extent to which they would be the extent to which they are unwilling to engage with actual substance. For instance, speaking of a lack of substance, you can see it in my chat right now with this person named Sam, somebody that obviously does not know how to construct an actual argument. Now, Sam, if you continue spamming, I will have to, well, time you out for being, fucking annoying, right? The reason being, I'm willing to engage with whatever arguments you want me to engage with, if it's an actual discussion, right? But if you're just flooding my chat with dumb shit, for instance, right now, to prove my point, I will end up timing you out. I'm not going to hide you as a user. I think you deserve a second chance, but you're saying a whole lot of dumb shit. You're not saying anything, really. Now, as I was saying, Sam, indeed, I couldn't agree more. I find this... And this is going to be... The reason I'm doing this stream is not because I think it's going to get a shit ton of views, by the way. I am going to include segments of this stream in, well, I don't know if I would call it a video essay, or just a hit piece, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be about a particular individual that I'm not a very big fan of. Maybe very difficult to guess who that might be. I don't know. Who knows? Oh, truly the greatest mystery of all time, obviously. Now, what I found interesting is I found it very interesting that there were instances in which Jalyn would make an argument, and then they would talk to me and act as if that was the argument that I had made. Now, why is that the case? Well, it's because they think I'm Jalyn 2.0, which in some regards, many aspects, maybe I am. Sure, I can be mentally ill sometimes, blatantly so. I sometimes schizo-post on the internet. Isn't that what Jalyn is known for in the commentary community? Well, yes, pretty much. Regardless of how accurate that assessment is, right? Now, that being said, what I find even more interesting than that is it felt like I wasn't able to speak for more than 10 seconds, 20 seconds at the most, right? Obviously, I had much less speaking time than everybody else. Not everybody else. Obviously, there are some people, such as Jalyn, who also had a little bit less speaking time. But I feel like they were willing to give her more speaking time than me. Why? Because she's Jalyn. And Jalyn is, well, I don't know, more hated in that community than I am. Believe it or not. As if that's somehow possible. I guess it is. Thank you for becoming a 1-month member, Manic Jackson. You've been a member for a month. Sup, comrades, I couldn't agree more. My thighs are about to appear on screen. And you can make that happen by becoming a member. During a stream. I know. It's very awesome. Now, I also have, while it is true that Acheeto has privated his stream, like see, there you go. Make my thighs appear on screen by becoming a member. Those are my thighs, by the way. I know, I just look so good. Now, being the bitch he is, Acheeto privates all of his streams when he's done with them. He doesn't even unlist them, or he doesn't even make them members only. No. Which, I mean, he could do. I would be sympathetic to that. I've done that in streams that I think are not that entertaining, I guess you could say, or important to me, or about me, right? For instance, I ended up, because it was a dumb shitpost, I ended up making it a members-only stream when I did the reaction to the Republican primary debate. Why? Because, I don't know, it didn't feel like it fit on my channel. Calebug, you do realize I saw you the first time. So if you keep spamming, alright? If you keep spamming, I'm going to time you out, alright? And I'll give you a second chance. So, this is the part where you either stop spamming or I time you out. Now, moving on. I do believe that Acheeto would be more willing to have a genuine discussion with actual substance if it was one-on-one. Alright, sending the same message in a row is gonna get you timed out. You already know what I said. Coconut Kingdom. And now you have been timed out. I'm sorry. So, what I really wish I could have had was a one-on-one conversation, like a fair discussion with Acheeto. Why? Well, because I think it would be more, I don't know, productive. I think, aside from all the shit-talking I've done, which, don't get me wrong, it's entertaining, I want to have a real discussion with him. You know, after watching him debate Bunk, watching that full debate, I think he would be able, at least, to somewhat engage in a discussion. Sure, he would be weaselly still. Sure, he would, well, dodge certain questions. He did so in the debate he had with Bunk, which was, whatever, like an hour and a half long. If you saw the Demon Mama Acheeto convo, it's a brick wall. Oh, I know, I've seen that. Perhaps I react to it on a members-only stream, as I prepare for some other content that I'm doing. You know, the behind-the-scenes stuff for video essays is, well, members-only content, because it's behind the scenes. Sounds hot? Why, thank you, and I agree. Now, this is the really... Now, okay, my brain has been fried, obviously. Like, very fried. I'm not as entertaining right now as I usually am, because I was, you know, in a stressful situation, I guess you could say, where I have to sound calm and collected as well at the same time. Now I sound calm and collected, whereas I should be, this is the part where I should be yelling and being like, oh, this is, How could they do the thing that I already knew going into it that they were going to do, where they talk over me and don't give me enough time to make my arguments and won't shut the fuck up, right? But I'm in a certain mode where the goal is to sound rational, right? Did Jalyn say the gamer word and become unhinged? If she's still unhinged, she's not nearly as unhinged as she was before. I think she's quite chill, actually. Now, she has said the gamer word. It's one of my favorite words, too. Have to say, it's a great word. Really rolls off the tongue. Are you friends with Natty Forsyth, who is a nonce? Well, she's not a nonce. There's not sufficient evidence to prove that. You could say that she's a degenerate. You could say she's weird. You could even go as far as to say you would never want to associate with her. And I think all of that is valid. But because there's not actual evidence of her being predatory, rather there is only evidence of her, well, being an irresponsible retard, which I think she was, I don't think that that's enough to warrant a guilt by association attitude. The Vaush detached interlocutor approach. Exactly. I think if I sound like Vaush at any point, it's gonna be right now and during that stream. Because Vaush knows how to handle situations like that, obviously. I haven't even seen the kill stream, but I intend on watching that at some point. And, well, his rhetorical approach is obviously going to be effective for that. It's not a bad thing. No, I know. It's a good thing, actually. My natural instinct for handling conflict is to go off of what I already know. That, things I already know are successful. I know that Vaush's rational approach, right, that focuses heavily on rhetoric more than anything else, is going to be the most effective in a situation like that. You don't have time to read what a fucking study has to say. If anything, even though I like reading studies, and I like using those as my arguments, you're not given sufficient time to do that. All they have to do is say, well, the study is fake and there's other studies that say the opposite, right? And then they lie about a study. But as soon as they lie about a study, all I have to do is explain either A, what the study actually means and how it's not applicable, which I barely have time to do, if I have time to do that at all, or B, I guess I could read the study. I could ask them to link it, and then just go through the entire thing if they've lied about it. This is the approach I would take if I was debating somebody such as Tim Pool, who will, use 20 different studies to quote-unquote support their arguments, when in reality they're just lying about the studies that they know you're not going to take the time to read. But what I would do is I would say, well, hold on, I want to make sure that this is what the study actually says. Would you be willing to provide me with a link to this study so I can read it with you guys? And if the answer is no, it's, well, a bad look on them, right? So, generally, when it comes to people that care more about the entertainment aspect rather than the political agenda, they're not going to do that, right? There's no way that they're even going to bother looking at the actual studies. They might randomly select a study and frantically link it in the Discord or frantically quote a study. That might be the case. But regardless of whether or not that's the case, all I have to do is, because they're not going to be honestly representing Bob the Builder, I'm going to time you out because you're spamming. Alright? Yeah. Alright. Put user in timeout. Alright? If you say the same message more than once in a row, I have no choice but to time you out. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. I know. Don't he cool? Well, he can come back in 5 minutes and have a second chance. Hey, cute twink, do you want to read a thread on the feasibility of replicating intelligence in a computer architecture? I do, but not right now, because this stream is more about the rhetorical approach I used. So, for instance, if we go to, I don't know, where was I talking a lot? Was it in this one? I don't remember. I'll show the part where I got kicked from the call, I think. It would have been... I want to say... Wait, hold on. Respond to MROW, I might in the future.
Your garbage.
Was it here that I got kicked? Oh, wait. Yeah, it would have been in this one. We use words ignorance. It seems like he's... Nope, that's after. If we're gonna... Though obviously everyone was talking over each other, it was... That was after I was kicked. Kick you from the call. I find it... The lightest fucking...
Femyoz,
I've actually decided. I've decided.
This is the part, alright? Hold on.
Forever.
Have you thought about killing yourself, Sensitive? I think that would really do good to the world, honestly.
What the hell?
What the? That's pretty mean, Jalyn. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's pretty mean. You've been mean to me this entire stream, motherfucker. Fuck you.
I've only been polite to you.
No, you have not, you dumb fuck. You
Listen
can
to me,
sit here. You can sit here and
I'm
lie.
going to be
You
really
can
bad.
sit and lie all you want.
I will harm you, okay?
Whoa! Stop!
You will
What is
harm
this
me.
weird ass...
Are you spurging? Are you spurging out, motherfucker? What was that? Come on.
Whoa.
Come on.
Sensitive, what is this weird ass cry bully shit? Like, come on, man.
Dude, shut the
Like,
fuck up. Who are you?
Like, what the fuck
outta
is
here.
this?
Yo,
Yeah.
yo, Femyoz.
I've actually decided. I've decided.
That's what I got kicked for. Was calling Sensitive Society a cry bully. That was too far. Jalyn telling Sensitive to kill himself, that's not too far, which it isn't, by the way. You would be a bitch to kick her for that as well. But me daring to give Sensitive Society valid fucking criticism by saying he was being a crybully, because he literally was. He was whining over somebody saying KYS on the internet. That was too far. Heaven forbid I dare speak out against a crybully. Say ooh please. Well, I just did by reading your message out loud. What a bunch of bitch babies. Yeah, it's like I felt like I had to walk on eggshells for the entire discussion. I had to be calm and collected. If I even talked with the 10th of the emotion that anybody else in the call was talking with, I would have been removed. Because, well, that would be too far. Let's go, I'm gonna clip that. Go for it. The more clips of me on the internet, the better. Wemyos never taken an L, true. Jaden is Chris Chan cousin. You got a source? You look great, Femyoz. Why, thank you. Femyoz, I think you're not a bad guy, but what about morals and compassion for Acheeto's well-being? And what about your own internet image you're associating with Jalyn? Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. So, morals and compassion for Acheeto. Now, I'm going to be completely honest here and say that, also, I've been on HRT for a few months. I've gotten a tiny bit of growth. My chest is very sensitive. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. So, I appreciate that you're being charitable, Cephos. You seem like you're arguing in good faith. Now, compassion for Acheeto's well-being. I do not believe that my comments have negatively affected his well-being. Do I think he's an overly sensitive loser? Yes. Do I think he had a negative reaction, perhaps one that was emotionally charged to my comments? Yes, but I don't think that my comments negatively affected this big 300,000+ subscriber YouTuber who makes way more money than me. I don't think he's going to be hurt by that. I'm just some rando on the internet, right? But it was because I was willing to, well, say fucked up things that I got attention, right? And then it became a much more interesting discussion when I subverted everybody's expectations by being calm and collected in the call. Why? Because it was fucking bait. That was the point. Alright, Sam, it seems like, because you won't literally shut up, I have no choice but to mute you. Alright? You have one more chance after your 5-minute little timeout. Alright? Same with you, stupid 1234. You're in a timeout, and you have one more chance. What's wrong with being transphobic? I'll get to that. Alright, now, as for my internet image, I assume there are 2 reasons why you would be concerned with that. And I think that they're somewhat valid reasons. Firstly, I am aware of the fact that it's not good optics to do what I do. I'm aware. It's not that I'm unself-aware. Now, in terms of how effective my strategy is, that's what I care about. Whatever gets me on a debate with people that I dislike is, well, the approach that I should be taking. Now, I am somebody that has been, well, kind of a massive shitposter for my entire internet presence. And there's almost a cognitive dissonance now, because there's that side of me, and then there's the side of me that wants to take things more seriously, which is just part of being an adult. But the shitposter in me has never gone away, right? There's a reason it was 41 comments, right? It's a funny number to specifically go for, right? It's not a coincidence that it was specifically 41. Now, almost never worth it unless the platform is neutral. I don't have the patience. Well, I do. I have more patience than you would think, because I've been in so much YouTube drama at this point. I've been canceled so many times that it doesn't really affect me. What? Dumb people yelling at me is supposed to negatively affect me? It doesn't. I'm numb to it now. I have gotten past that. In fact, I think that I've been desensitized in a way that I deem to be good, helpful even. Because once you... Uh-oh, is it lagging? What in the shit Wi-Fi? I hope it doesn't keep lagging. Alright. Okay, we should be back. I think, maybe, potentially. I hope. I'm very sorry about that. It's not over yet. At some point I'm gonna end the stream. This isn't meant to be like a long or a big stream. I just want to give my initial thoughts, because I think that knowing what I'm thinking in the moment is important. Knowing what I was thinking clearly during the stream, even though, you know. Now, in terms of optics, I think that caring too much about optics is bad optics in of itself, right? If you're overly obsessed with optics, you're gonna look, well, like a fucking weaselly coward. You're gonna look insincere. And if you look insincere, because, well, in a sense, maybe you are, then you're not gonna have the best optics either, right? You have to find a balance, right? Sometimes having bad optics is the best optics you can have. And you are spamming in chat, so I'm gonna time you out. You have one more chance, okay? Burnt waffles? I'm all for rehabilitative justice. But you know, if you're spamming, you know, I have to show you, okay, I'm willing to take some sort of action. Now, in terms of the, I guess, find offline coping skills whenever you are willing to whatever you are willing to subject yourself to. I can subject myself to anything at this point. I don't think that it's going to negatively affect me anymore. I think that by giving myself the exposure therapy I've needed, by starting YouTube drama with people, receiving backlash, getting canceled multiple times, nothing can really invoke fear in me anymore. I'm not afraid of getting canceled. I've already been canceled. There's a reason that, and you can go back and find clips of me saying really controversial shit in my old streams, where I'm going out of my way to try and say things that are very cancelable. Why? Because I wanted to get being canceled over with, so it's not this looming fear I have being held over my head, right? If I get canceled right away, then what do I have to lose? I've already been canceled. The expectations are low, and I can't be canceled. It's the Keemstar strategy. Just say a bunch of controversial shit, get canceled, and then just keep on defending yourself, and then move on. Either way, I noticed somebody in chat that was saying, what was it? Do you know why Jalyn deleted a response video? I do not know. I hope she undeletes it, because it was a good video, in my opinion. Now, I noticed somebody asking, what's wrong with being transphobic since I am? Well, just because you are something does not necessitate the correctness of said thing, right? Alright, holy fuck, people that spam. I'm just gonna hide channels now. Because people that are getting timed out aren't learning their lesson, so, yeah, sorry. Oops. Very sorry to hear that, that you had to get... Alright, there we go. Thank you for letting me know to hide user on the channel. Making it very obvious. Now, if you want to insult me, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Femyoz says, Hotlol, why thank you. I appreciate that. Now, whether or not you are something does not dictate the correctness of being said thing, right? I think it is wrong to be transphobic. Now, you are transphobic by your own admission, right? Does that mean I think you're an intrinsically evil person? No. Do I think you have harmful beliefs? Yes. But I'd be more than willing to talk to you about it because something tells me that, and I could be wrong here, you don't know that much about trans people. I think what you have seen is, well, anti-trans propaganda. And if all you know about trans people is the untrue things people have said about trans people, or the mischaracterization of trans people, then yes, if you believe that that mischaracterization of trans people is accurate, and you rightfully dislike that characterization, then it would logically follow that you dislike trans people. That's why I'm not quick to insult you. At least not right now. There's a time and a place for it, because it's comedic, or whatever. But because I know that a lot of you who don't like me are quite young, and I know a lot of you are malleable to an extent, as in your minds can be changed if presented with, if you're presented with a logical enough argument, your minds can be persuaded to the correct position. And it's not the position you think I'd have. It's not the same talking points that you think someone on my side would have. So, well, how reconnecting. Is it gonna lag? Please don't lag. I don't like it when it does that. Is it lagging? I hope not. It looks like it's not lagging anymore. Now, I am 19 years old, if you were wondering. Bulls, if you were the one asking me. I broke the stream, yes, you definitely did. It was all you. It's your fault, Sam. L age? What age would be preferable? 18? 20? 27? What is the ideal age? Because there's no such thing as a permanent age you remain forever. Unless you want to say once you die, you don't age anymore. 9? 9 is the ideal age? Okay. That's a reflection of your... If that's a reflection of your, I guess, sexual preferences. I'm disappointed. What happened last stream? Okay, well, basically, and I already kind of described briefly what happened last stream. I showed a clip of me getting kicked from the stream. What happened is, I debated Acheeto and a bunch of other people, right? It was a bunch of people versus me and Jalyn, basically. I'm Jelly, you're on HRT, so young. Yeah, I mean, really do be like that. I decided that dysphoria was, all HRT and no testes. What does that mean? You doxed a child. Well, technically, at one point, I did dox a minor. I admit to that. I admit to my wrongdoings. So that was a situation in which, yeah, I genuinely fucked up. I've apologized to the 15-year-old. What happened is there was a 15-year-old, who was an admin on my Discord server. He nuked the server, basically backstabbed me. I got mad at him and decided to take my revenge by spreading an image of his face in a stream I did. I ended up privating the stream, whatever. I don't know, within 24 hours, within 12 hours, I think. But the damage had already been done. I already fucking traumatized the kid, and I acknowledge that that was fucked up. And I don't intend on doing that again. So if you want to hold me accountable for genuine fuck-ups, go for it. I agree with you. Anger problems, I agree. You could say I was being overly sensitive, overreacting, not adhering to my own principles or morals, and you would be correct in all of those assessments. Absolutely, 100%. I've already addressed this situation quite a few times, but I know that some of you have probably seen the MRAW video, and I want to make it clear that I don't condone that specifically. Usually when I do abrasive, annoying shit, I double down. This is not one of those cases. That was a shitty thing for me to do, and I don't condone it. I condone doxing, I just condemned it. I condemned myself for doing it, because it was wrong. Now, I don't intend on doing that in the future. I never will do it in the future. But you are a liar. And did I say that I didn't? I said, and again, it depends on whether or not you even classify. It depends on whether you classify leaking a picture of somebody that was in a Discord call in a public VC that was, whatever, shown on a stream by accident that I ended up blurring out, but then I ended up unblurring it out of spite and then showing it on a follow-up stream to roast him or what. Regardless, it was immoral, is the point, right? That was, well, something I did wrong. I'm not lying about that. What am I saying that you believe is dishonest? Do you believe that it was a good thing for me to do? Do you believe I'm lying and saying I did something that I didn't? That doesn't really make any sense. I acknowledge wrongdoings. I won't dox another person again, immediately does it again. Wait, what? Who have I doxed since then? Can you name a single person? Oh, wait, you can't, because they don't exist. It's almost like people can learn from their mistakes. I don't know what you mean, immediately do it again. Fix your internet. What do you want me to do? Go threaten the people that work at the fucking... Yeah, no. I'm not here to threaten my service providers. Why did you even do it to begin with? Because they nuked my server and I was mad at them. I thought that they, and I still believe this to an extent, it felt like they used me to trauma dump. As almost like some sort of therapist is how they saw me. And then they backstabbed me once I had put enough trust in them to become an admin on my Discord. And, well, that fucking hurt, because I trusted somebody and they broke that trust. So my response to it was disproportionate and wrong. That doesn't mean that the reason doesn't exist. I didn't do it for no reason. I just didn't do it for a good enough reason. So there's not really a good enough reason for the most part, right? That's basically for him to try using me as his fucking therapist and for me to do my best to give somebody that's clearly in distress the best advice I can to the best of my ability is grooming? In what world is that grooming? I just don't want people to, I don't know, be fucking miserable. I want people that, well, are either fans I want the people that are either fans of me or, you know, that are just seemingly kind people to be happy. And I want to do whatever I can for that. I don't know what else. Move on, don't give these freaks attention. Well, I think it's an important thing to address, right? They might not know that I've already addressed it, right? There are some valid concerns, right? Now some of them are being misused, and and some of my statements will be misinterpreted, but well, I mean, that is what it is. I admit to, when I do something wrong, I'll admit to it, even if it's being brought up by concerned trolling crybullies, as you say. I will still admit to wrongdoings. Let's chemically castrate kids. Wait, what is your definition of chemically castrate? Because when they go on puberty blockers, that doesn't chemically castrate them. They can just go off of them and then go through puberty. You know that, right? What do you think about Jalyn? I think she's a nice person. I don't think she deserves the shit she gets. Can you please get more admins so the server gets rated less? Well, last time I had an admin, that's what caused the server to get fucked, so I don't even know anymore. Those pills were used for sex offenders, you moron? Okay, Pop Monster. I'll ask you the same question that Acheeto semi-successfully evaded. Do you believe it would be wrong for kids with precocious puberty to have puberty blockers? Something that'll save their life? I mean, they're used for sex offenders, and surely you wouldn't accuse kids that have precocious puberty of all being sex offenders, right? But you would acknowledge the importance of giving them necessary medical care, correct? So why wouldn't you apply that same standard to severely gender dysphoric teenagers, basically? So people that are older that need to, well, not go through the wrong puberty in order to decrease the likelihood of them joining the 41%. And also, hello, Lord Pasta Productions. This is getting boring. Why? Is it because I make too many good points? Sure, I could do another stream where I yell or whatever, or sound angry. That's not the point of this. This is meant to be level-headed. Because obviously you want a reaction. And sure, there's a time and a place for that. There's a time and a place to focus more on the entertainment aspect. But I think this is the time and place to focus more on the substance, right? Because I feel like I wasn't given the best chance to focus on substance, right? It was only rhetoric, only saying things that are the right things to say, basically. Things that can't be misconstrued, basically. I had to say things that were so simple and basic. It's not that I was not saying things that were untrue. It was just I wasn't providing the full complexity of my worldview because I didn't have an opportunity to do so, right? Every time I almost did that, it was, well, oh, you're just being the nerd emoji. I just don't care. Is there a counter-argument? And while that's obviously not a counter-argument, as the correctness of my perspective is not contingent upon whether or not a commentary YouTuber gives a shit, it does matter for me not getting kicked from the call and actually having my perspective be heard to an extent. So, give Hoopty admin, he is supporting you. Well, a lot of people that have supported me ended up abusing their admin. Oh, my science, because it's a kid you... So, wait, hold on. I'm gonna ask you again. Okay? Not like they're gonna regret it. Well, the regret rate is very low. So, do you believe that the 1% of people who regret it should ruin it for the other 99% who are happy with their transition? Do you believe that that there should be, that if there's one retard that makes the wrong decision and decides to ruin it for everybody else, that they should have the ability to do so? 1% Lamau? Do you have a source that says otherwise? Dog, nobody supports you. Well, there are people that support me. Now, obviously, I have a smaller audience than Acheeto, so it tends to be the case that, yes, I will get dogpiled by Acheeto fans and people that are fans of the commentary community, but that doesn't make me any less correct. Now, I'm somebody that believes in, well, taking a short-term hit to my image for long-term success. So, it might be the case that what I'm doing right now is terrible optics. And oh, I agree. I agree, hon. But terrible optics right now are some of the best optics you can have long term. Because long term, people tend to appreciate people that are real and sincere. And when you're real and sincere, you end up like Vaush. It doesn't matter how many people hate him. He has the most dedicated audience that I've ever fucking seen. I'm part of his audience. I really like Vaush. I think he's awesome. Now, commentary YouTubers fucking hate him, but that doesn't stop him. Most of the people that watch his shit are supportive of him, and it will be like that in the future for me. Just because I don't currently have my audience doesn't mean there's not an audience for me. And while it might be the case that that audience hasn't found me yet, does not necessarily mean that that audience doesn't exist. Now, my goal with this channel is, aside from being successful, which is a goal of any content creator, is to get people to at least consider other perspectives, right? No wonder why you get all this backlash. Why? Why do I deserve backlash? If it's because of the one incident in which I acknowledged doing something wrong, then sure. Pretty sure HRT stunts puberty, that's just me though. Are you referring to puberty blockers? You do realize that there are plenty of people that by default don't hit puberty until they're 15 or 16 years old. And guess what? They turn out to be just fine. They don't have to have HRT for the biological sex they were assigned at birth. They don't have to... A boy who identifies as a boy, who doesn't hit puberty until they're 16, doesn't have to go on HRT. They're fine. Now, Femyoz studying that 15... Wait, studying? Giving advice is studying? According to what standard? Have you decided that me giving a fan that was clearly in distress, at least from my perspective, advice to the best of my ability, and trying to say that they are valid no matter what people that were bullying them in real life say? You think that that is studying? In what world is that studying? It's giving the most straightforward advice that is intuitively obvious to me, at least. Do you believe that anyone that gives advice is this malicious individual? Blood is researching that minor. Who's researching or forcing what? What am I researching and forcing? What have I forced onto others? Bro wants to talk to a 15-year-old while having on OnlyFans on his channel? Well, first of all, most of the shit in my OnlyFans is shit posts. It's like a picture of iDubbbz. It's a sneak preview of mine. I haven't done anything sexual on OnlyFans. Believe it or not. Maybe I do at some point in the future. But I have not done so yet. I just think it's funny to have an OnlyFans. Because people are like, oh my god, they have an OnlyFans. How dare they? There are people that are like that. Maybe that's not you. I hope. That stream was still funny as fuck. Which one? The one where the one I retracted? I agree. If you're referring to that one, sure, there was entertainment value. But it was sadistic entertainment value, and I don't condone that. It was at the expense of somebody that I don't think deserved it. If you're gonna, you know, you're not Belle Delphine, jackass. When did I say I was? Can you find a point in the stream where I said I was Belle Delphine? Damn, notice how I'm pressing Hubba for a single study and can't provide any and is just ignoring me? Oh yeah, they don't respond to substance. They don't even know what that is. They don't know what the fuck a study is or what it means to find and observe peer-reviewed literature. Femyoz is hotter than Belle Delphine TBH. Why, thank you, and I appreciate that. BS about the OnlyFans. The only reason I can't argue is because I won't pay for your garbage content. Well, I didn't say you had to pay for anything. Now, you can choose to do so if you would like. That's a matter of preference. I know that HRT makes puberty worse, and I like it? What? What does that mean? Makes puberty worse. Makes puberty worse. I'm not sure I'm following along. Smash like if you don't fucking understand what the fuck kind of point that is either. I'm not trying to roast you, by the way. I just don't. I don't understand. The pressing is working blood. You're avoiding it, ONG. You're deadass testing on 15-year-olds to make them fem. Wait, I haven't made anyone a femboy. Can you find a single example of me forcing someone to become a femboy? Or is that just something that you've made up? Name 10 books? Wait, peer-reviewed literature does not have to be literal books, right? Now, I can name sources. Do you want me to pull up my research document? Because I can do that. Now, if you don't actually care about the studies that I've acquired, or the ones that are on Nominal Naomi's research doc. She's better than me at debate, by the way. So I can hold on, let me duplicate this tab and bring both of them up. So, first of all, in terms of the sources that I have so far, it seems to be, hold on, the Columbia University Irving Medical Center, American Academy of Pediatrics, National Library of Medicine. I don't know which one this is. I didn't label it. I didn't label any of these, but these are the... Is that the NLH? The NLM? Is that... I'm sorry, it's really small font. MedlinePlus.gov. Seems like I have quite a few sources of my own. And this is just the beginning of research doc. This is not the full thing. If we go to, say, Naomi's research doc, there's a lot more here. There is, well, yeah, there's definitions, there's links to all this stuff. Oh, looks like a little bit of overlap, it seems. Different studies from the NLM. I don't know what this is because it's labeled, but oh, here's some studies that I've looked at a lot of these. So it seems to be the case that a lot of research has been done. There's 54 pages. I can keep going and going and going and going and going and going and going until I reach the end. on page 54. Now, obviously, you are not somebody that's gonna be willing to read it, are you? I guarantee it. Now, this is meant to be a short stream, just to give my initial thoughts, and I think I've done a good job of that. I think we've gotten sidetracked. So, this is the part where I wrap things up and end the stream, but before I go, I'll respond to a few more things. We're asking you to send the links, you moron. You can... Okay. I will send a link. So, this is Nominal Naomi's research doc, and it has a ton of links on it, by the way. So, I'll put it in the chat. I believe it's this one. I believe... I could be correct. Or, sorry, incorrect. Yeah, this is the right one. It's been linked in chat. You are more than welcome to look at all of the different sources. Why? Because the science agrees with me. I believe they should make HRT cancel out puberty forever. Be better for a lot of people like me. I mean, you mean like going on puberty blockers, but not at any point hormones? I don't know how viable that would be. For long term, I mean. You can do it for a while. I don't know how long you can do that for. Let me guess, extreme left-wing and extremely biased sources. Why don't you look at them and figure it out for yourself? Because I don't think that they're biased. Can they be used to support left-wing arguments? Sure. Yes, I do think that they can. But leftism is not what you think it is. You have a caricature of leftism in your mind, of the angry SJW who falsely appeals to, biased sources and doesn't acknowledge reality or biological sex or whatever. You've created this caricature in your head. I know you have, because I used to think the same way. You think I was always this big leftist person? No, I was not. I used to be more on board with the average commentary bro, the appeal to centrism or center-right beliefs. I would have considered myself to be center-right, in line with the things that Ben Shapiro would say. For instance, even if you go to my old channel, and a lot of you watching this, if you search my old channel, well, obviously the new channel shows up as well, but if you go here, obviously you've got the links to the new channel, but you've got the old stuff. And I've been told by people in commentary that they really like the old stuff in comparison to the new stuff. The old stuff they really like. They say I'm talented. I was really good for my age. Some sort of Filthy Frank style child prodigy at the time. Now, while it is true that I think I was underrated back then, the reason that they saw me that way is because I held a lot of the same values as them, but I hold different values now. Shapiro on top, facts above all, I used to think the same way. But Gaming Human, well, first of all, I've criticized iDubbbz. The video ended up getting taken down by YouTube for hate speech, which is fucking stupid, but I made femboy content cop iDubbbz, and gave him a lot of valid criticism that other people wouldn't give. I wish I had an archive of it. The appeal got rejected as well, and there's no way for me to get it back, so it's gone forever. But I agree there's valid criticism of iDubbbz. I do believe, to an extent at least, he is kind of cucked out. I'm not iDubbbz. I didn't fall from grace. I just changed to a different kind of grace that you guys aren't necessarily on board with, and that's okay. It's a slow process. Now, I try to present arguments that were compelling for me, that convinced me to move to the left, because I used to be, well, in line with what you believe. Now, lol, and look at you now, Femyoz, a disgusting mimic of what you were trying to be, something you are not, right after watching a lot of, well, it has nothing to do with porn. By the way, estrogen and anti-androgens kind of kill your sex drive a bit. I don't have a sex drive anymore, right? And that's a downside you're aware of beforehand, right? I'm not transitioning for sexual pleasure because it sort of removes a lot of that. In fact, I might be asexual now, which isn't a bad thing. It's not ideal, but it's better than gender dysphoria. 99.99% of people who take HRT are doing it for the fetish. Do you have a source for this, or is this just something you heard somebody else say? I'm not even going to say you made it up, because I'm sure you've heard the autogynephilia argument, the pseudoscientifical argument, when the criterion for being an autogynephile, if applied to a lot of cis women, would, well, you would conclude that the vast majority of them are autogynephiles, because it is an absurd set of criteria to come to a false conclusion. ContraPoints did a really good video about it. Search up ContraPoints autogynephilia. I'll put it in chat. Okay? I'll put it... ContraPoints autogynephilia.